I'm putting my 11-4, 73% NFL prime record on the line because we have another prime game Saturday night. Steelers Ravens NFL playoffs are here, and I've got a free play for you in this game with analysis coming up right now. Hi, this is Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com, right back here on Wager Talk TV, and this game is on Prime National TV, or not National TV, Amazon Prime. Most people get it, but hey, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Should these playoff games be on subscriber cable like Prime or Netflix? What are your thoughts on this? We, of course, had the Thursday night games on Prime, and we did quite well, going 11-4 this year on those free picks. We'll try to make it 12-4 here with the side selection for you between the Steelers and Ravens. Let's get right to it. I like Baltimore in this game. I think Baltimore is one of the most underrated teams in the NFL this season. Meanwhile, the Steelers are one of the more overrated teams in the playoffs. Now, on the surface, playing against Mike Tomlin as a big underdog is a scary thought. He's been a great underdog coach in the years he's been in the NFL, and he has overachieved. I think he's overachieved again this season with a very mediocre Steelers squad. And oh, by the way, they have been better with Russell Wilson at the helm, and Russell Wilson is an incredible 9-1 against the spread when getting 6 points or more as a dog in his NFL career. So that does give me pause. And my initial thought when this line opened 8.5 was, hey, Ravens, great teaser play down to 2.5. Problem is, it's now 9.5 in most spots. We even see some 10s as we're creeping closer to the weekend. If you can get the Ravens at 9.5 down to 2.5, it is a solid 7-point teaser opportunity. But at this price now, you're probably better off just playing the point spread. And the only way I would play it is to lay it with the Ravens, as they are the superior team in this game. Keep in mind, when these teams played back in Week 11, the Ravens had 2 touchdowns to none against the Steelers. If you had told me they were going to have 2 touchdowns to none, would have thought they would win that game and cover. And that was not the case, obviously, as the Steelers pulled the home upset as a 3-point dog, 18-16, despite having 6 field goals, no touchdowns. They still pulled the upset. Well, the Ravens got their revenge. If you recall, I did a video for that Saturday game here on the channel a few weeks ago. That was Week 16, and Baltimore smoked Pittsburgh as expected, 34-17. And the thing about that game is, once again, touchdowns favored the Ravens. In fact, the Ravens had 6 touchdowns to 2 in the 2 meetings this year, and they thoroughly dominated the stat sheet as well. If you look at the yards per play in each game, even when the Ravens lost that game in Pittsburgh, they had a 6.1 to 4.1 yards per play advantage. And then in the rematch a few weeks ago at home, a 6.7 to 5.3 yards per play advantage. And there was nothing misleading about it, as they've been one of the best teams in the NFL this season, especially on offense. Meanwhile, the Steelers have struggled this year, especially when stepping up in class. You look at some of their games against playoff caliber teams, some common opponents here. Pittsburgh had 4.3 yards per play against not my Washington Commanders. Meanwhile, the Ravens, when they beat the Commanders, had a 7.7 yards per play on offense. You look at the other games this year. I mentioned the 2 Pittsburgh-Baltimore games. Baltimore had the substantial offensive edge. Even going back Week 2, the Steelers beat the Broncos on the road, only gained 4.5 yards per play. They have not stepped up well in class. When Baltimore played Denver midseason, 7.5 yards per play. So huge offensive edge for the Ravens. And the Ravens' defense was the real question mark this season, especially the pass defense. But they actually got much better as the season went on, and their yards per pass numbers got incredibly better. In fact, down the stretch, I know they played Cleveland. I'm not going to read much into that. But against Houston and Cleveland, they held them both to 4.3 yards per pass. Also, defensive yards per play, yards per pass numbers were pretty good as well in those games. My point is, I think this Ravens offense is stellar, maybe the best in the league. I think the defense has gotten better as the season goes. In fact, their pass defense was way below average mid-season. They finished the season really statistically on average pace. In fact, if you look at their numbers at the end of the season overall, 6.6 against teams that average 6.5. That number is as high as 8 yards per pass earlier this year. So that shows how much they've improved. And once again, Russell Wilson has been better at quarterback this year, but the Steelers are still a very average team on both sides of the ball. And one other thing I want to point out, we don't talk a lot about this stat, but I think it's an interesting one to look at when the playoffs began, is teams that have outstatted their opponents win the yardage battles. I mentioned the Ravens had a substantial yards per play edge in both meetings this season. And while statistics don't mean everything, if you win the yardage edge, you win the yards per play edge, you normally are going to cover point spreads. And I think it also still starts to point at overrated and underrated teams as we get closer. The Ravens this year played 10 playoff teams, and they outgained all of them by 118 net yards. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh was just 2-5 in the stats and negative 38. And there was really nothing misleading about that. The Ravens were the best overall yardage team in the NFL this season. In fact, Baltimore was 15-2 when you look at in the stats. They outgained 15 of their 17 opponents. The Steelers were just 9-8. They only outgained 9 of their 17 opponents. Pittsburgh ended up -8 net yards for the season. Baltimore was an NFL best plus 101 net yards. So once again, Ravens are an explosive offense. The defense improved. There was only one way to play it, and that's to lay it with the Ravens minus the 9.5. If you can get them down to minus 2.5 on any type of teaser, that obviously is probably a safer play, as Pittsburgh and Tomlin have been feisty dogs, but I just don't think that happens in this game. I know Lamar Jackson has underperformed in playoff games. What is he? I think 2-4 straight up. That is a concern. But once again, if you throw that out, if you just look at the matchup, Baltimore should win this game by double digits. Take a look at the Ravens on Saturday night on Prime. Comment below. What are your thoughts on this game? Side, total, player props. How are you approaching this Saturday night national TV game between Pittsburgh and Baltimore in the playoffs? What other playoff games do you like as well? Don't forget, I'm doing a ton of solo free play videos for several other playoff games. I will also have NFL Fade the Public Playoff Edition covering all the games this weekend here on the channel. Don't miss out. Click subscribe and click that bell for an instant alert. Thumbs up, like as well. The more thumbs up likes, the more comments below, the more free play videos I do each and every day for both football and basketball here on the channel. I do read the comments and I reply back. Hey, the NFL has been red hot. In fact, over the past 2 months, nobody has won more units of profit at Wager Talk than I have in pro football. In fact, all NFL plays are on a 24-12 run the past 2 months, including 67% all my client best bets. And if you don't want to miss out, don't miss out. Right now we have a playoff package and you get an instant 25% discount with promo code PLAYOFFS. That's right, use promo code PLAYOFFS at checkout and take 25% off the NFL playoff package. And once again, I'm ranked number 1 the past 2 months, winning almost 40 units of profit the past 2 months. We are seeing the NFL well. In fact, the last, 5 or 6 Sundays, I'm losing count, 14-2 Sunday run the last 5 Sundays. 13-2 in the NFL. I did throw in an NBA best bet as well. And oh, by the way, speaking of NBA, I'm number 1 all time in NBA profit. We went 85-56 last year on NBA sides. I know we're talking NFL playoffs. There's only 13 pro football games remaining. Basketball is the daily moneymaker right now in college and pro hoops. So once again, if you want just the NFL playoff package, use promo code PLAYOFFS, get a 25% discount at checkout. But if you're serious about a long-term investment approach, consistent investment approach, consider an all sports, all access. And right now you can save $811 on my 1-year all-access pass with promo code SM365. That gets every college and pro basketball, college and pro football, and baseball, which starts in a few months, gets every best bet for the next 365 days and nights. Instant $811 discount. That gets it down to exactly $3 a day, just about $1 a play for every best bet for the next full year. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com, SM365 is that code. Hey, look, you don't have to memorize the special offers of the promo codes. I list them on my homepage every day, along with a bonus free play. I put my best bets up for clients, and then the game that was the last cut that just missed out, I post as a free play for everyone with analysis. So check out the daily free play, check out the special offers, and check out my red-hot NFL best bets for this wild card round. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com. Hey, get there quicker with shortcut WT.buzz/SM. Follow me on social media as well, at Steve Merrill, 2 R's, 1 L, at Steve Merrill on X and Instagram. And stay tuned here. You know there's tons more free play NFL playoff videos coming up next.